So I want to talk about this weekend. I had a sample gig this past weekend on Saturday, and it was at Tom Thumb. And what I was to sample is chocolate. And this is Kinder chocolate. If you haven't tried it, I totally recommend it. It's a German chocolate. But it's so good. So they set me up next to the wine. I'm like, what goes better with chocolate than wine or alcohol? So there was another manager who was working in that section. He works or he's over the wine and alcohol, a specialist or whatever. So he really took a liking to me. So this is a guy that he probably is maybe late 40s, early 50s, um, but actually a decent looking guy. Never married, so he claims. No kids. Studying for his master's in plants plantology. I don't know what it's called. He's told me what it was. Anyhow, he took a really big liking to me. Um, I'm a very friendly person, so what can I say? And I happen to have a decent smile. Um, Never had braces. I'm blessed. But I spoke with him. His name was Crud. Uh I know his name. Everybody knows him, and they were passing by every time we spoke, and just co-workers, people that work there. But he's very known. Um, but he kissed my hand in acquaintance, so I was like, oh, okay. We have small talk conversation, and he asked me, so what do you drink? And I'm like, I do like cab. Um, Argentinian cab is preferred. And he goes, I see. I just wanted to know what to order when we go out for dinner. I'm like, oh, okay. I see how he. So as I was stating, he's like, so I know what to order when we go out on our for dinner. I'm like, oh, sliding that in. Okay, his name was Jason, by the way, came to me. Um, so I'm like, okay, going along, sure. And he's like, he looks at me. He's like, would you be embarrassed, for us to be seen in public together? I'm like, no. Should I be? Thinking, should I be? But realizing that I do look much younger and he looks older, I'm like, well, they might say sugar daddy. And he's like, they can call me whatever they want. I'm fine with sugar daddy. I'll be that. And I'm like, oh, but okay. Long story short, we cut it quick because I started getting people that were interested in these samples, and I was telling them that they're on sale and blah blah blah, where they're at. And also, he's like, well, we got called to our particular locations, um, and I ran out of samples. At this point, I didn't know what I should do, and I don't want to keep grabbing product, but I know I have to go ahead and use a corporate card and pay for this stuff that I've sampled. So I excused myself Not really thinking I'm gonna come back, but definitely trying to pay for this product. I talked to the manager up front. Anyways, that's a whole different. They have managers or leads for every department in Tumthum. I end up not going back to the station and just carrying on going home. Um, well, home to Robert, and that that was that. I feel rude for not saying goodbye, but I did go back to say goodbye. However, he wasn't in that area. One of the other guys who works in the meat department who had assisted me earlier. Anyhow, so he wasn't in that area and I felt rude, but I had to go. Um Turns out those corporate cards were not activated. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to pay for this product? And the manager from up front was like, I will go I'll hold this receipt and I will let them know, my superior know. And I'm like, please do, because I'm not going to pay for that. Not that I, as a consumer, I may, but I wouldn't be sharing it with everybody that walks by. I mean, come on now. But he the manager, well, actually one of the guys that works in the meat department that I had that had called to me earlier because I was walking around like a lost puppy trying to look for a plate to be able to display these chocolates. And I mean, there was nothing that I could use. So I was just walking around. He's like, I have some meat trays. They're plastic. They may not be as fancy, but it's something. I'm like, thank you. And I will use that. Thank you so much for noticing that I was walking around like a lost puppy. He's like, I figured you needed help. I'm like, thanks. But anyhow, um nice kid. He was young. Um and we had short conversations because I was trying to wait for the manager. And there's a whole bunch of stuff happened at the very end where I was waiting for them to clear the card or get a hold of somebody to activate this corporate card. So I was disappointed that it didn't happen, but anyhow, I left. But I still didn't see Jason. I told him, I'm like, hey, I was trying to say bye to Jason. I felt rude because I just left. And he had helped me. Um, and actually gave me a tip. He's like, hey, you know what? I don't know how much they're paying you to hand out samples and stuff like that. But if you are ever a wine sampler, they pay like 19 an hour. I'm like, I'm gonna look into that because that is more like it. I want to do that. I would love to be a wine girl. Absolutely.